It's hard to feel feelings. Emotions take us on a ride that can be wonderful and unpleasant. Some humans love a scary AF roller coaster ride or skydiving or bungee jumping. Many other humans feel like if they have to live without their phone for a day, they're going to have anxiety and experience a whole lot of emotional FOMO, fear of missing out. Every one of us has a threshold, a boundary, if you will, of what we can and cannot deal with emotionally. I, for example, am an emotionally intense human being by nature, which means that I can often, not always, deal with really big emotions. Not all the time. There are days, truth be told, that the photo of a sad puppy is going to destroy me. So I have to be mindful about my capacity to deal with emotions. Empathy is our basic human ability to feel and perceive the thoughts and emotions of others. Yeah, emotions. But empathy comes in a couple distinct flavors. There's cognitive empathy, knowing how the other person feels and what they might be thinking. Emotional or affective empathy, when you feel physically along with the other person as though their emotions were almost contagious. Compassionate empathy, the understanding of a person's predicament and feel with them, as well as be spontaneously moved to help and support if needed. And there's also something called motor empathy. Involves our mirror neurons, which is fascinating. An automatic empathetic response in the form of unconsciously mirroring the facial expressions of another or copying body language, speech, or yawn. You know how when you see someone yawn, you yawn yourself. Like even just, ooh, is that real? I don't know, like, just thinking about yawning makes me want to yawn. Ish. But not fully. I can't quite get there. It's like a sneeze that won't quite come, but I have that feeling inside of wanting to yawn. Is it just my holographic part of my brain hole that's like, just even thinking about yawning makes me want to yawn? I don't know. A lot of the times, our empathy is a mixture of all these four types and others. Why should we even care about developing this thing called empathy? Haven't we already been doing enough the last couple of years just surviving? We're a really social species. We have been developed over time, evolutionarily selected to be empathetic. You know, we're taught that it's survival of the fittest, like Darwin, but that's a misquote of Darwin, by the way. And it's just not true. There wouldn't be almost 8 billion of us if that were true. That would be like a Mad Max Fight Club kind of thing. That's just not how it is. Empathy builds better relationships. When you're in a relationship with someone, whether it be social, business, personal, intimate, and someone can be empathetic with you, you trust them more. You feel heard and seen and presenced. That builds that connection and that resilience within that connection over time. Empathy actually contributes to our lifespans. It makes us live longer because the healthier connections we have in life, the more likely research is telling us that we're going to live longer, healthier lives. Quality, not quantity necessary, but maybe both of them, right? Both quality and quantity. Empathy is also tricky. Empathy is tricky because of how we're geared to really like who is like us. You know, it's a bit of a tribal mentality of like, my tribe is good and everyone else stranger danger. It doesn't have to be that way though. So sometimes we see empathy in a negative way, where you empathize with your tribe, your people who are like you, and you don't with anyone else. We can use that natural propensity for empathy to teach ourselves, to train ourselves, to be empathetic to people who are very different than us. Because guess what? They're human. They're our kin. They're our family. Our big, messy family. So how do we be more empathetic? If you dare go down the empathy pathway of life, how do you actually do it? First of all, slow down. Slow down. You need to be present in the moment. You need to slow down, get the brain slowed, the body be aware, awake, present to the human being that you're offering empathy to. Stop talking. Listen. Get our ears big. Our ears, get them big, and listen more than we speak. A lot of times empathy is just hearing a human being and actually being present with them. It's not offering your input. In fact, that's kind of not empathy. Empathy is being with, whereas like problem solving is giving people input, mostly when they don't even ask for it. Hey, that's a hard thing. I'm trying to get better at that, of asking people, do you want my input? It's really challenging. And if we want to be more empathetic, we need to get better at that part of asking, would you like some input? And then speak. Don't be afraid to talk. Empathy doesn't require silence. It requires listening and being reflective in that listening. Get curious. Get curious about what's going on with this other human being that you care about enough to offer empathy to. Don't try to mind read, but be curious about what happened, what's going on, what is the emotional landscape of this human being that you're connecting with. Watch for nonverbal cues. That's a huge one. If you're able, what's the facial expression going on? Sometimes humans have very flat affect when they're in a really charged state. Don't let that fool you. There may be other clues going on. What's the body language? What's the tone of voice? What's the eye contact or lack of eye contact? Please remember also, eye contact is wonderful, but it's not the be-all, end-all. There are human beings who that is not a thing, and that's cool. What are the cues that are being offered to you non-verbally that help you understand and feel into what this person is experiencing? You got to be willing to be uncomfortable, at least a little bit, because you may end up having some feelings being activated by this other human being's feelings. That's the mirror neuron part of us. The fact that sometimes feelings can feel contagious. This is also part of why we sometimes resist giving empathy. We have that feeling that we're going to go down into that experience ourselves, and we don't want to. We might not want to feel sad, mad, irritated, anxious, depressed, all the things. That makes sense. That is absolutely understandable. You still can find ways to be empathetic and not get sucked into the morass of someone else's emotional landscape. How do you do that? Boundaries. 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 Our best friend, boundaries. Boundaries will help you keep present, keep yourself anchored and grounded, and being able to feel with and perspective take with another human being empathetically. Boundaries are hard. They're hard to figure out sometimes. I, for example, grew up in what I'd like to call kind of a wild, wild west experience of emotions and lack of boundaries, where it was all emotions all the time. The good ones, the challenging ones, and everything in between. It's been a long experience of learning about boundaries that will never stop. I'm never going to get done with this particular lesson. I kind of think none of us are, especially in this culture that doesn't understand or value boundaries very much, at least not till recently. But that's not us. That's the situation that we've co-created for ourselves. Humans are naturally empathetic creatures. The world that we've co-created that focuses on extraction, consumption, competition, individualism, isolation, doesn't foster a great environment to be empathetic. That's what we've created. That's not how we are. Empathy is some of the best and most vital medicine that we need on this fantastic journey of life. Wonderfully, it's a quality that we can grow and nurture. More empathy, in my opinion, will lead to less callousness, less judgment, less power over extractive ways of being human on this planet and with each other. Empathy is one of our human superpowers that will help guide us through this really difficult, challenging transition time as we move to the next phase of who we are as human beings. It will help unite our brilliant minds with our compassionate hearts and powerful bodies. We need this. We need empathy. We do this thing together. We do this thing together.